So we have this quantity is equal to 0 plus the summation sigma naught in Sk. So what do? I choose some H naught which is not in Sk. Take some permutation which is not in Sk, but of course I'm considering this as something contained in Sk plus L. And now I want to look at, in this sum, I want to look at, previously I looked at only the sum over Sk, and now I want to look at sum sigma in H naught Sk. H naught Sk is a coset of Sk. Coset of Sk in Sk plus N, okay, of the same thing, signum sigma, okay, of S tensor T upper sigma of V1 Vk plus L. So if sigma is in H naught of Sk, that means that sigma is equal to H naught sigma prime, where sigma prime is in Sk. So this quantity is equal to sum sigma prime in Sk. Sigma is equal to H naught sigma prime. So signum of sigma is signum of H naught, signum of sigma prime, and I have S tensor T of sigma, which is H naught sigma prime. But S tensor T of H naught sigma prime is equal to S tensor T of sigma prime H naught V1 Vk plus L, which is equal to sum call H naught 1 equal to W1, H naught K plus L to be equal to WK plus L. These are some vectors. Okay? And this is equal to the same thing. And then I must write down sigma prime of this S tensor T of W of sigma prime 1, W of sigma prime K, up to W of sigma prime of K plus L. But where is sigma prime? Sigma prime is in Sk. So sigma prime of K plus 1 is equal to And in this sum, this quantity is independent of sigma prime. Therefore, I can pull it outside the summation sign. And what I have left with is just alt S of it's not alt S at V1 to Vk, but it is alt S at W1 to Wk. But alt S is equal to 0. Therefore, alt S at W1 to Wk is 0. So, which is something T something into 0. So, if I choose an H0 which is not in Sk and take the coset H0 of Sk, then the sum over this part, what we have just shown is that the sum over this part is also 0. So this obviously gives the idea, actually this earlier stage gives the idea that what you have to do is take S and partition, take Sk plus L and partition Sk plus L into left cosets. Okay? So, and in over each of the cosets, the sum is going to be 0. And this actually is a very important idea. Okay? So I just want to spend 2 minutes talking about this. And therefore, over each of the cosets of Sk in Sk plus L, the sum is 0. There are finitely many cosets, and therefore I can say, therefore the sum over the whole of Sk plus L is 0. So let me just write this down now. So this actually is a very powerful idea. And we are saying something more than just saying that alt S density is 0. The idea is the following, that this is the whole of Sk plus L. Okay? In this Sk plus L, I have a term here, I have a subgroup there which is called Sk. Okay? Then I choose a coset of Sk in Sk plus L, which I had called, I think, H0 of Sk, okay, where H0 is not in Sk. And in that sum, alt sum, okay, sum signum sigma S density upper sigma I write it in terms of the cosets. So you have to choose what is called a representation of the cosets. Okay? So this is sum over Sk plus sum H0 of Sk, where H0 is not in Sk, and then you take the sum over all remaining cosets, of Sk. And what we have shown is that the sum over Sk is equal to 0, and I've chosen one particular left coset, and we have said that the sum over that one particular left coset is 0, and exactly the same manner you will get sum over all the remaining cosets. Each sum over each coset is 0. So I partition Sk into its left cosets. Sk plus L into its cosets with respect to partition it with respect to left cosets for the subgroup Sk, and each sum over each coset is equal to 0. So we are saying not only is the whole sum equal to 0, what we have is the sum over the smaller parts is also equal to 0, which I hope you understand tells you more information than saying. And just saying that a certain sum is 0 is giving you less information than saying that this part of the sum is 0, that part of the sum is 0, that part of the sum is 0, and in this way. Okay? So this actually is an important idea, that not only is the sum of the whole thing 0, but the sum over each coset, left coset here, is 0. Very good. So this is the first place where you're saying that you have to break it up in terms of the cosets, and this is an idea that actually arises quite often. I mean, another way that you can show something is 0 is sum over some coset is 1, but sum over some other coset is minus 1, and therefore the sum of these two is equal to 0. Okay? So this is actually quite an important idea, and I'm sure that you're going to come across this idea sometime again in the next couple of months or years. Okay, so alt of S tensor T is 0. Then in exactly the same way, you will also get that. Similarly, if alt t is equal to 0, then alt yes, and therefore you will get that immediately. You will get that alt of why? Because alt of something plus something is alt of this plus alt of that. So this is equal to alt of t tensor s minus alt of t tensor s, and therefore alt of alt is equal to alt, and therefore alt of this quantity is 0. And therefore, because this is this quantity which I will call S, and therefore T tensor S tensor T U V W S P. You will get that alt of this quantity T tensor S minus alt of T tensor S. This quantity is something whose alt is 0. Yes? The alt of this is 0, is what the previous line is saying. And therefore, by the lemma that we have, if I take any u, okay, and then I take alt of that, yes, what will you get? You will get 0. Hope you understand what I'm doing. I'm applying this. Alt of this quantity is 0, and therefore alt of this thing whose alt is 0, tensor with anything, alt of that is also 0 for any u. Yes? what does this say? This says that alt of something tensor something is 0. And therefore alt of, what should I write down? This implies that alt of T tensor S tensor U. So alt of this is equal to 0. So alt of T tensor S. So let me write this whole thing down. Alt of this whole quantity is 0, which is alt of T tensor S minus alt of T tensor S. So alt of T tensor S tensor U is equal to alt of alt of T tensor S tensor U. Let's stop here. So alt of T tensor S minus alt of T tensor S is alt of T tensor S minus alt of T tensor S, but alt of alt is alt, and therefore this is equal to 0. So this quantity is something whose alt is 0. So S I'm going to replace by this, and therefore the lemma gives that alt of this quantity. What is the quantity? Tensor U is equal to 0. Why? Because alt of this quantity is 0. Therefore, alt of this quantity, tensor any U, is also 0. Okay? And what this says is that alt of T tensor S tensor U is equal to alt of T tensor S, alt of T tensor S tensor U. Okay? And therefore, in exactly the same way, you will get that this is also equal to alt of T tensor alt of S tensor U. I'm sorry, I'm making T and S, 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 and T, and then here you have S tensor U. That's correct. I'm just interchanging the roles of S and T here, so, but it doesn't really matter. Okay? So here it does not matter which alt I'm taking first. Am I taking alt of T tensor S, or am I taking alt of S tensor U first? And an immediate corollary to this will be that if omega, eta, and zeta are K, if omega is in lambda K, eta is in lambda L, and zeta is in lambda R. So you take three forms: omega in lambda K, eta in lambda L, and zeta in lambda R. Then omega wedge eta wedge zeta is equal to omega wedge eta wedge zeta. Why? This is an alt, and you have an alt of an alt tensor this. This is equal to an alt of these two. It doesn't matter where you put the alt. It doesn't matter where you put the alt. Do you put the alt on the last two components, or do you put the alt on the first two components? If you're taking if you're taking alt of that, all that quantity is equal to alt of S tensor, T tensor, S tensor U. This is the immediate product. And this shows that wedge product is associated. Okay? So, we now have that wedge product is associative, and therefore this actually is a product. Very good. What does this product actually be? What is this product actually, the triple product if you like, what is it actually equal to? So it's worthwhile to write that down. So, if omega is in lambda L, lambda K, beta is in lambda L, beta is in lambda R. That's the way I have it. What is this by definition? This is, so I'm taking wedge of something with zeta. Where is this? This is in lambda K plus L. So by definition, this is K plus L plus R factorial over alt of, what do I have to do? I have to take this thing and tensor it with zeta. Okay? What is omega wedge zeta? Alt. What is this? Omega wedge zeta? Omega is in lambda K, so this is K plus L factorial of alt of omega tensor eta, that is this quantity, tensor zeta. This closes this bracket and this closes this bracket. Correct. So notice what is happening here. This K plus L factorial is going to cancel with this K plus L factorial. And what I'm left with is and you have alt of omega tensor eta tensor zeta, and we know that alt of this quantity is actually equal to a factor multiplying that. So this is in fact the actual wedge product. So we'll stop here.